Here at the nursery stage, this is one of the most important stages in the development or in the farming, because once you have very well established seedlings here, it means you're going to have a very well growing crop. But if they poorly establish here, then you are going to have a poor crop. And therefore, having nursery skills is very important, so that you can be able to establish them very strong seedlings. And therefore, we are going to learn several skills that you need here at the nursery. Of course, you have already selected the variety of the seed that you are going to use, and you are going to find that the variety that we call the hybrid variety, they have better germination. The open pollinated, some of them have poor germination, and therefore the hybrid have better germination, and they are the ones that are recommended. And here, when you are setting up the nursery, one thing, you should set up the nursery in a secure place, and secure place mostly near the homestead, because once you because of security, because if you can set the nursery very far from a secure place, you may find when they are mature, somebody can come and then can uproot all of them. And therefore, security for them is very important. When you are planting, you need to plant them very well in a site where there is water, enough water, that is, and in a place where there are no diseases. You know, there are no history of diseases in that particular place. And of course, a place where you know it is fertile. You have planted other crops there, and they have done very well. That's a place where you set up your nursery. And once you set up your nursery there, then you know the crop is going to grow very well. And here we have a setup whereby you are going to orient your nursery east to west. As you can be able to see here, this is the line, this is the line. So the sun, east is here, the sun rises from here, then sets from this side. So you're going to orient your nursery east to west, so that when the sun rises from here, the sun rays are able to strike the middle of the lines, the middle of the spacing in between the seedlings. And this is very important because there will be no microclimate around here that causes diseases such as dumping off. That is very important. Even when you are planting in the field, the same thing should apply, so that the sun can assist you in controlling some of these diseases and some of these pests that may come as a result of the microclimate. If this is done this way, then it means at this stage the sun, the seedlings will be blocking the sun rays from going in the middle. But this way, the orientation is good. Now, the size of the bed should be 1 meter by a convenient length. Should be around 1 meter, as you can be able to see, by a convenient length, depending on the number of seedlings that or the size of the farm of the seed that you are planting. And when that is done, then the nursery bed should be, ideally, it should be raised and sunken at the top. Raised and sunken at the top. And raised because in case of any diseases of excessive rain, excessive water, it will not be flooded. And it should be sunken at the top to prevent, once you do the irrigation, to prevent water and the seeds being washed off. And therefore it should be raised, and then it is sunken at the top, whereby you have to raise extra soil from the sides, so that the top, the bed is raised, but at the top it is somehow sunken, so that it can be able to contain the water as you are going to do the irrigation. There are a number of things that need to be done even before you are going to do that sunkening. You are going to use some handful of very well decomposed manure. And this handful of decomposed manure is maybe 2 hands is broadcast on the nursery bed, and then it is incorporated very well into the soil. You may even sprinkle maybe a handful of phosphatic fertilizer, and then you mix very well nursery bed with the nursery soil. Once this is done, you are going now to do the lines. You do the lines, and here you are going to start from the edge, and then you are going to do the spacing. The spacing is usually from one line to the other, usually half a foot. That is 15 centimeters, or just your thumb and your index finger, and that will be the spacing. And that spacing is very important because to avoid overcrowding of the seeds over here, to avoid overcrowding, at least, and also not to have microclimate. Some of them do broadcasting, but broadcasting is very risky because some seeds are going to go on top of each other, and they are not going to germinate. And therefore here we are ensuring that once you leave this space, there will be a lot of space for the seedling to grow, and to grow very well, so that each seedling can be able to germinate. And therefore once this is that has been done, now we'll be do what we call now the sowing of the seed. And once you sow the seed here, it should be done sparingly, so that no seed comes, goes on top of the other, or there is no overcrowding. So that when there will be germination, germination will be very even. As you can be able to see, germination will be very even. Each seed that is planted will be able to germinate. And therefore that is done. And once that is the seed are sown on the nursery bed, then you use dry soil to cover that seed. And you cover that seed very sparingly, just covering. If you cover with too much soil, then it means that they are not going to germinate because the seeds are very tiny. You just use dry soil to cover very lightly on the line. And once you cover that, then the other option, or the other thing you do, you cover using a gunny bag. The others who use dry grass, but if you can have a gunny bag, the better. You cover very well using a gunny bag. And the covering ensures that the sun is not too strong on this seed, so that the first initial stage of growth of the seed is not hampered. So you cover without with the grass, or using a gunny bag. And then once you cover, we have now the crop protection bit. And the first product for protection of the seed is a fungicide. And a fungicide is very important because it's going to eliminate issues of bacteria that usually attack the seed, that cause seed rotting. And then it's going to also to prevent a disease we call pythium, or pathogens we call pythium, and also fusarium, that bring about a disease we call dumping off. So once that fungicide is used, and it is a fungicide we call carbendazim, active ingredient, is going to assist to prevent all those diseases that are mentioned. And then we have a pesticide to prevent the pests from attacking the seed. And here we are looking at pests such as the chaper grub, and also the wireworms, and the termites, because those are the pests that can come, and then they can be able to destroy the seeds that you have planted. And here we have a product with active ingredient Imidacloprid that we mix with the carbendazim, so that it can be able to prevent these pests. And on top of that, we have a product that we call a biostimulant. And this biostimulant, which may be the source of the biostimulant, may be a seaweed extract. It is also mixed, and the purpose of this biostimulant is to be able to assist the seed to break the seed dormancy. And seed dormancy is basically, the period between the seed breaking to start germinating. The seed at first it's dried, very dry, and once it is planted, it has to shed the outer cover, and once it sheds the outer cover, then it's able to germinate. So that period is what we call seed dormancy, and to break this seed dormancy, sometimes the seed may die off, and therefore this biostimulant, it assists to break the seed dormancy, and also assist in the initial germination, because during the initial germination, once it gets the first roots, then it takes up this biostimulant and then it activates and grows very fast. Therefore, once these three are mixed, then have already covered your nursery bed with the grass and you have covered with a gunny bag. Then what you do, you pour on top. Use a watering can or use a knapsack sprayer. You pour that solution into the bed until you see the mixture, the chemical mixture has penetrated well through the grass or through the gunny bag. And this is usually done because you may find that the grass that you have covered on top has maybe termites, or maybe it may attract termites. And therefore, that solution that has the chemical, it also assists in disinfecting the grass cover and also even the gunny bag cover. And then what is done after that, you have to check for moisture. The moisture level is okay, so that you can be able to add more water. And here, in terms of adding water, the rule of thumb here is you should be able to have on the nursery bed, you have enough water. Not too little, not too much. Because if it becomes too much, then you're going to find that some diseases such as dumping off and also root rot may set in and destroy your seedlings. And therefore, it is very important to be able to check out on the watering. Should be enough water, neither too little nor too much.